Hey everyone, my guest today is John Deaton. John is a former federal prosecutor, trial attorney, U.S. Marine veteran, cancer survivor, the father of three daughters, and a 2024 GOP Massachusetts U.S. Senate nominee. Born in 1967 in Highland Park, Michigan, John grew up in generational poverty amid racial tensions and violence. Despite these hardships, he graduated magna cum laude from Eastern Michigan University and earned his law degree from New England School of Law in 1995. He served as a judge advocate at Marine Corps Air Station, Yuma, Arizona, and later as a special assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Arizona. After retiring from the Marines in 2002, Deaton founded his own law firm focusing on mesothelioma and cancer victims against major corporations. His advocacy extended to exposing asbestos contamination in children's products sold by Claire's, leading to international product recalls and changes in testing standards. In 2024, Deaton ran as the Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate seat in Massachusetts, challenging incumbent Elizabeth Warren. Welcome to the show, John. We were just discussing some of your recent updates. Do you want to tell everyone the somewhat new news?
Absolutely. On November 10th, I announced that I am running for U.S. Senate against Ed Markey. He's the other senator. So last year I ran against Elizabeth Warren in 2024. I was a no-name candidate running for the first time. No one really knew who I was in Massachusetts. And, I got my butt kicked as a first-time candidate usually
Yeah.
does. But I was the first Republican to get over 40% in 30 some years. 1.3 million people voted for me and decided to build on that momentum. Ed Markey is the other U.S. Senator. He's been in Washington since long before you were born.
Yeah.
1976 is his first
Okay.
year in Washington, D.C., and some polling showed that I could beat him. No polling ever showed that last time against Elizabeth Warren. And last week, something rare that happens, the Massachusetts GOP, that's the state Republican Party, decided to endorse me overwhelmingly. And what that means is I'm not going to have a primary, which is very big news because our primary is September. And
Hmm.
after you get out of the primary, you only have a month to 6 weeks to really try to win the general election. And so
Hmm.
this time, while Ed Markey has a primary and will be spending millions of dollars and going super, super left,
Yeah.
I'll be able to talk to everyday Massachusetts residents, common sense approach, and not have that problem. So this is looking up to be a real competitive race that I think is going to surprise a lot of people, in not just in Massachusetts but across the country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good news that you don't have to worry about the primary. So,
Huge news. Last time, to give you everybody understand, I won the primary last time by 65%, which is big, but
mhm.
you spend all your time trying to convince Republicans or conservatives that you're the right choice, and
Yeah.
you're not reaching the other voters. And since it's in September, you just don't have enough time
Yeah.
to run a general election. In fact, when you count early voting, you only have 4 weeks.
Oh
And
my
it's
god.
very incumbent friendly. So last time, Senator Warren, she didn't have to deal with
Mhm.
that. She wouldn't even debate me until after 25% of all the people had already voted in Massachusetts. And so this time around, I can reach, disenfranchised Democrats, unenrolled um, voters who are not Republican or Democrat. And that's 64% of all the voters in Massachusetts, and really drive home a common sense approach. Ed Markey will be arguing over, citizenship for 20 million illegals, open borders, biological men compete against women, the Green
Mhm.
New Deal, and that, offshore wind is the solution to all our energy problems, and all those kind of things that really don't make any sense
Yeah.
when you look at it. And I'll be able to talk to people about why we can't afford housing, why their groceries are so high, why their energy bills are so high, and offer them solutions to it. So I'm excited because when I ran against Elizabeth Warren, I knew the chances were slim to none.
Hmm.
This time, I have a real legitimate shot at retiring someone who, let's face it, whether he's a nice guy or not, 80 years old, 50 years in Washington, it's time to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a little bit of that going on with Chuck Grassley here in Iowa. It's I just saw he posted something advocating for pesticides, and I'm like, man, read the room. You got to look at our cancer rates. Like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, so Massachusetts is pretty blue,
It is.
right? And I think that that would be great to kind of get some red up in the New England area.
Yeah, I
So,
had to put it in perspective. 41% of the people voted for me.
mhm,
That came to about 1.35 million, but not one Republican is in the office. So all 9 House members are Democrats. Both U.S. senators are Democrats. The governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, attorney
yeah,
general, everyone is all one party.
mhm,
And I'd feel the same way. Listen, if everyone was a Republican and they got arrogant and complacent, I'd probably feel the same way and say we need some balance,
yeah,
and so hopefully the people in Massachusetts have had enough of far left
yeah,
politics and they want something more common sense.
yeah. Yeah, that's really exciting. It's yeah, I don't know, just the fact that you can just focus on that and have the time to do it. Uh, I'm definitely gonna keep track
Yeah,
of
listen, I
what you're
mean
up to.
Chuck Grassley, he's 92 years old, and I think he hasn't ruled out running again, right?
No, I know, I was just reading that yesterday that, something about that, yeah, he hasn't ruled that out, and again, he's very nice.
He is.
It's just once in a while, it's like, "Damn it, Chuck, you're embarrassing Iowa right now," and I don't know who writes his tweets for him, or if he's writing them himself, but they're typed like they're still on the flip phone, where you have a character limit on the phone, but when you have a government account, don't you have unlimited characters on X?
I mean, you now they've changed it so they'd be able to do lots of long form
Yeah.
posting if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Uh, but listen, I mean,
Yeah.
we want, I'm not an ageist, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't mean age alone is an issue, but do we really want 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds, people that have been in Washington for 50, 60 years voting on artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, quantum
Yeah.
computing, automation? I mean, at some point, Father Time takes everybody out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
judges in Massachusetts have to retire at 70. And the
Oh.
theory is because you start losing a little bit of your executive functioning,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they pick 70. So if how many U.S. senators wouldn't be able to run if we had an age of 70 or 75?
Right. Right. Y and yeah, like you said, you don't want to be ageist, you don't want to kick
Right.
someone out just for age. However, it's somewhat practical when you do consider when you see people like, unfortunately, Mitch McConnell, I feel terrible for him, but when you're freezing up and having medical issues on camera, it's like, "Alright, so are you able to make the decisions that you're supposed to? Like, are you remembering everything you're doing?" You know? I ju I just don't think it's the best idea, not to
No,
bash old people, but
it's not. It's not, and it's just. But there's a reason. I don't know
Mhm.
any human being that the older they get, the better their executive functioning, the better their memory. It's just human nature,
Yeah.
and if you ask someone like Ed Markey what he's done, he talks about the Telecommunications Act. Well, that was the 80s. And then
Yeah.
he talks about, well, if I voted for the internet, dude, that was the 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're in 2025,
Yeah.
2026. So, if you can't cite something that is relevant in the last 30 years and
Mhm.
you're talking about stuff that happened, and it's not just that, but, to put it in perspective, you can see clearly, anyone watching this can see I'm not a young man, but when he first went to Washington, I was 9, right?
Right.
In perspective.
Yeah.
And a Harvard room tuition and board, 5 grand.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying it's
Wow.
85 grand today, right?
Yeah.
And so tickets at Fenway were $1.25 to watch the Red Sox.
Uh-huh.
Try to do that
Gosh.
today. You
Yeah.
get a family of 4 and it costs you $400 to go
Yeah.
watch a baseball game.
Yeah.
Uh, and so it's just a different time, and it may be time for younger faces,
Yeah.
fresher faces.
I agree. I think, also, younger as the younger generations are getting more and more into politics, I think that they respond better to some of the younger candidates. Um, they see someone that's older and it's like, why don't you give that position to somebody else? Why are you taking up that role? Um, and and then also just why don't you just retire and live your life and enjoy it? But what are some of the other things you'd like to see change in Massachusetts that you'd like to work
Oh,
towards?
one is certainly energy policy
Mhm.
is a big one because they act like Massachusetts can solve climate change by itself, right? It's a
Mhm.
global issue. Our yearly carbon emissions is less than 2 days of China's. And
Yeah.
so, but they're punishing our businesses and they're saying you have to be a net zero carbon emission by this point in time when you don't have the infrastructure. So people in Massachusetts now are paying double the electricity prices that folks probably in Iowa were probably 3 times higher than Iowa.
Right.
And natural gas, they're banning natural gas, right? It
Yeah.
used to be part of the solution to fossil fuels. So they're demanding electricity. Now that affects everything because if you can't build a house and you can't tap into natural gas lines
Mhm.
and you have to be electric and you pay double the electricity price, you can't build affordable housing for people who need it. So
Right.
we have a housing crisis. We have a job crisis. We're last in private sector job growth. We are the most expensive state when it comes to housing affordability. We're dead last. We pay 106% higher than the national average for
Oh
housing.
my gosh.
Groceries are 20 to 30% higher. And so, one way to solve that is energy. The other thing is
Mhm.
we have to deregulate the industries. We have a housing crisis, but for a builder to pull the permits to build a house takes 2 years just to get the
Yeah.
permits.
Oh my
Right?
gosh.
So like that's insane.
Yeah.
Um, so we have to deregulate. We have just like everywhere else, childcare costs. We're the single most expensive state. Families are paying on average now over about 30 grand a year for childcare costs. Well, you just can't afford that
Yeah.
because that comes out of your net. So after you pay all the taxes and then you pay your child care costs, you just don't have money to live on. And so affordability
Mhm.
is obviously the biggest problem. And
Yeah.
it's because of career politicians like Ed
Yeah.
Markey, who've, to be honest with you, they've robbed young people like you of prosperity because they've recklessly printed so much money that they
Mhm.
don't have. They just hit the print button and
Yeah.
create more dollars. Well, the more dollars you create, the less valuable each dollar becomes. And
Yeah.
so it takes more dollars to buy the same thing. I mean, go to McDonald's with a family of 4, go
Yeah.
through the drive-through and you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
$14 for a Big Mac deal?
Yeah. Yeah. Would you
Right,
pay that in restaurants too?
right.
I mean, yeah, it's wild.
And so it's just like I remember there were 5 of us. We went, it was either Wendy's or McDonald's,
Mhm.
but it was $72 or something like
Yeah.
that. And it's like, you mean I can't I can't get a meal for all of us $10 under for each. So right,
Right.
it should be under $50 for 5 people, and it was
Yeah.
$70. So, but everybody's experiencing that, and
Yeah.
we've got to get serious people into Washington
Yeah.
who will understand basic concepts like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's, in high school, I was one of my only one of the people of my friends with a car and a license, and, we would drive through McDonald's and everyone would get, like or Taco John's and get, like, the six-pack and a pound, like, I'd be driving all these guys around and they like, friends with my brother and stuff like
Right.
that, and just get everyone all of us were broke, in high school, and it's okay, $5, it's gonna get you a meal from McDonald's, which, obviously, it's not nowadays, but I don't even know how these high schoolers can afford to do anything with the way things have changed. Um
Yeah, everybody has been priced out of the economy, and
Mhm.
I don't, I come from an extreme poverty. I was single mother, welfare, food stamps, living in the ghetto, and uh, I'm the embodiment of the American dream. Hard work and opportunity. But I don't know if young people can do what I did back in the
Yeah,
day because it's so expensive. Have you been priced out of the American dream? People can't
yeah,
afford a home. In Massachusetts, the average home for the whole state is $670,000, right? It's just $670,000. So people are going to their mom and dad, and their mom and
yeah,
dad are taking a mortgage out to give their kid a down payment on a house. Well, that's the reverse of the American dream. The American
yeah,
dream was your kids were guaranteed to do better than you if they worked for it.
yeah,
And now, I look at my children, I have a 25, a 23-year-old daughters. They're not guaranteed a better life than me.
right,
You know what I mean? Even if they
yeah,
have my work ethic, like they're not guaranteed because it's just a different world.
yeah. I hear HUD Secretary Scott Turner talking about trying to get rid of some of these regulations to make housing affordable. So I'm sure that the administration would be happy to have a candidate like you working on their team towards stuff like that. Because I
Uh,
noticed that's been a big focus for them is trying to make things more affordable for the American citizens.
no, it has to. And even if you talk about government housing, Section 8 housing,
Mhm.
welfare, um, if you need affordable housing, uh, you can only charge a certain amount, like if you include the utilities.
Mhm.
But if you can't, like here in Massachusetts, if you have to go all electric because they have some kind of green policy against
Yeah.
natural gas, you can't build the house because the electric bill could be $800 to $1,000 a month. And you can't charge that amount. So builders who normally engage in affordable housing for poor people,
Mhm.
they're like, I'm not building a house because I'll lose money. And
Yeah.
so it's a real problem. So we've got to deregulate some of these excessive regulations that are
Yeah.
just too burdensome on people.
Yeah. Yeah, I I think your platform's gonna be great. I've just been seeing, and I personally, I'm a Republican, I'm a Trump fan, and, I like that we're solving all of these conflicts elsewhere and all of that, but I'm not seeing anything becoming more affordable, and I think that's what people are asking for. They're screaming for. That was part of what we expected with this administration was less regulations, more affordability, a better life. And some things have been improved, but there's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of people in New York who voted for President Trump and voted for Mondami. You
Isn't
know,
that interesting?
yeah, and when you think about it, it's exactly what you're saying, though. It's about affordability,
Mhm,
and which proves to you what I've been saying to people is that people aren't looking for ideology; they're looking for solutions to their
mhm,
problems, right? And to me, it's easy to understand why a voter who would vote for Trump would also vote for Mondami, Actually, if you think about Mondami's platform, it was a lot
Uh-huh.
like Trump's, right? It was New York first versus America first. It
Mhm.
was, I'm going to put New Yorkers first. Same thing as Trump saying, I'm going to put Americans first. And
Yeah.
so, and it addressed those affordability issues. And so now, obviously, that doesn't mean I believe Mondami is going to be successful with
Right.
social, right? But
Right.
it just shows you the point you were making, which is uh, Republicans, Democrats have got to focus on affordability.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about my sponsors real quick. Sometimes I get on a roll cleaning or gardening, and I need a boost but don't have time for a meal. Big Fork Brand's pork jerky is the perfect choice to keep my momentum, offering high protein snacks for on the go energy boosts. Not only do they offer pork jerky, but they also make pork sticks, bacon sausage, bacon hot dogs, and burger and hot dog sauces. Products come in a variety of delicious flavors, including Thai green curry and maple and brown sugar for the meat options, and gangster and Chicago fire for the sauces. I personally think the original flavor of the pork jerky hits just right after tackling a big chore. It's a little salty and very flavorful. My discount code gives you 20% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit bigforkbrands.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Looking for a game-changing way to improve your health? Zevo Life is the world's most nutrient-dense whole plant, packed with over 50% plant protein, essential amino acids, fiber, and antioxidants. Harnessing the best nature has to offer, Zevo Life nourishes your body while driving your performance, vitality, and overall well-being. Each serving is a concentrated source of clean, well-balanced nutrition designed to support modern lifestyles, and just 1 teaspoon a day supports your gut, boosts energy, and promotes healthier skin and hair. It's no wonder that it's receiving rave 5-star reviews. Step into a healthier future with a 30% discount and a 30-day risk-free guarantee by visiting zivo.life and using my promo code. To support my show and to receive 30% off your entire order, enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Yeah. Yep. Is there anything else you want to share on your platform? Because I definitely want to ask you about Maduro and
Sure.
everything you have on that.
Well,
But
I
figured,
think that I'm, if they go to John Deaton for Senate, they'll be
hmm
able to see. But we got to tackle healthcare.
yeah,
Obviously, it's the biggest topic in the
yeah,
country. And I'm someone who, instead of just complaining about Obamacare, I'm going to offer solutions. Something that's very important. Obamacare was never going to be affordable because it allowed 3 companies and only 3 to control over 80% of all our prescription drugs in America
hmm
and over 90% of the insurance provider networks. That's
okay,
not real capitalism. That's like, monopolistic capitalism. And even President Trump's talked about, like instead of paying these 3 vertically integrated insurance companies, maybe the money goes directly to patients. But here's the point, too,
yeah,
is that you and I, Samantha, we could go on online right now, and if we need a microwave or a refrigerator, and
yeah,
we could compare prices, brands all across
yes,
the country, but we can't do that for drugs. We can't do
right,
that for life-saving drugs. We can't do that for insulin. We can't do it for blood thinner or whatever medicine people are relying on.
hmm
There's no transparency. So we need a system that allows you to see exactly what the drugs are for. Also, when you go for healthcare, uh, cash price versus going through insurance. You should have that option. You know,
Right.
to give birth, everything is about 5 grand cash. If you go
Yeah.
through insurance, it's 37,000,
Yeah. That's
right? And
right.
so those are the things that we can fix to make healthcare costs come down for people. So
Mhm.
healthcare
Yeah.
and energy are probably the two biggest policies.
Yeah. Yes. And, do you now does Massachusetts get, because I don't think it is, but some of those states, they get some of their energy from Canada?
We have some
Okay.
hydro from, and that's something that can be done more. But we do get some energy from Canada. The
Yeah.
problem here is they call it Taxachusetts for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Because they tax everything,
Yeah.
and we pay way too much more in taxes than we should be, and that seems to be their solution. At least
Yeah.
the elected leaders. You know, there's a candy tax, a millionaire's tax, a prescription
Yeah.
tax. They even have a new tax on the car tax, which means they're taxing the taxes now. It's
Oh
like
my gosh.
it's insane.
Yeah.
And so, but the problem I have with the people here is that they won't even consider nuclear, and nuclear
Right.
is a very efficient energy. It's not the old days where you had the big, nuclear power plants. You're talking about today, you could put what's called an SMR,
Mhm.
small molecular reactor. It takes maybe 2 acres of land, a lot less than sun and a lot less than, wind turbines.
Yeah.
And it's 95% efficient, and it's carbon zero, right? Zero
Yeah.
emission. And we could put 4 of those in Massachusetts that would heat 40% of all the houses in Massachusetts. But these elected leaders here, like Ed Markey, who's got the Green New Deal, they don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like they're set in the olden days where Chernobyl and Russia had a nuclear reactor. Well, those were huge old nuclear kind of power stations. Today, there's these
Mhm.
new reactors that are very, very efficient
Yeah.
and safe.
Yes, and I mean, you make the same point that, one of my environmental science classes was making, or policy, I don't know, one of those classes, but, it was I went to school for, it's like a political science degree with a focus on environmental science and policy, but one of the classes was discussing, like, how good nuclear is, but no one pays any attention to it. And I think that was almost an assignment on, well, why isn't this? Why aren't we pushing towards? And I think you make the perfect point, is that there was such a perception of it being bad. Things have changed. But when you have older politicians that are stuck in their ways, that at some point they stop changing with the times and stick with the past. It's almost like, when you get a little older, you get a little stubborn, like, "Well, back in my day," you know, and it's like they're not open to new ideas to even understand, "No, this has changed into a better option," and because why else? Why else wouldn't they, if everyone cares about the environment so much, why wouldn't we push to switch to nuclear energy?
We should be. Again, it's a mindset, but also because special interest groups, solar, offshore wind, a lot of them are in the pockets of these politicians, right?
Mhm.
They get federal subsidies and they get government money. And so it's a real corrupt system. And one way to end the corruption is get rid of all the career politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think about term limits?
All the way for them.
Yeah.
You get 2 terms as a senator that would give you 12 years to do a job, more than a decade, try to bring change.
Yeah.
If you're a congressperson, same thing. 12 years is enough. Do a good job, come home. It's called public service, but today it's like a lifetime of self-service.
Mhm.
And these politicians, they go to DC, they're broke, and 5 years later they're worth 15-20 million dollars.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't do that on a salary of $175,000 living in Washington.
Right.
in another state, which means that you're doing insider trading, you're getting kickbacks. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
things that are taking place.
Yeah. Yep. It's shady,
Yes, it
to
is.
say the least. So, all right. Well, speaking of corruption and shadiness, I see that you have some input on Maduro. And and I actually don't know what's happened the last couple of days, but I do see that he's been in the news. He's still on the we're still looking for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, he goes from he's worried that the government's going to drone strike him is what I think that he's
Uh-huh.
worried about. But I mean, he has sort of solidified his the military, and he's certainly at this point you would consider him an autocratic dictator of the coming from the left because he was part of Hugo Chavez's administration. He
Mhm.
was vice president, and then but yeah, I mean the question is a lot of people are trying to figure out what Trump's strategy is,
Yeah.
because we've sent a submarine and we've sent warships in the Caribbean, and we're doing military exercises, not far from Venezuela.
Mhm.
uh, Maduro has sort of activated his civilians as though we're going to go to war. I don't think that Trump's going to invade Venezuela. There are some
Right.
people in government promoting it. There's always going
Yeah.
to be some war hawks who want to do it. I think it's Trump playing the perception game and trying to create internal conflict that maybe someone inside the Venezuelan government are going to say, because they're experiencing hyperinflation, millions of refugees are leaving, the
Mhm.
economy is dependent completely on the price of oil. As oil goes down, the economy gets worse there. They don't have any kind of diversification, and Trump has declared a war on the drug cartels, and
Mhm.
Maduro is sort of propped up by them. So, some folks think that Trump can order sort of a strike or an invasion by calling it a war on the drug cartels, not a war
Right.
on Venezuela. But I think he'd be hard pressed, because, President Trump ran on less foreign involvement in
Yeah.
wars, but that doesn't mean that he can't use external pressure to try to cause internal pressure to
Yeah.
sort of, maybe Maduro runs to some kind of country where he won't be imprisoned or murdered, and live
Mhm.
like a king on an island somewhere, and then we reaffirm some kind of healthy relationship with Venezuela, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, uh,
And that's where all the drug boats are coming from, right?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
pretty much. So some of those, I think there's been 19 boats have been obliterated, and
Mhm.
the Trump administration has said that these are confirmed drug cartels bringing drugs and fentanyl and whatever else to America, so that they're able
Yeah.
to strike them first. Obviously, politics, people are going to, on the opposite side, are going to say, don't do that. What happens if you strike a boat that you think's a drug boat and it's just, a family out there?
Right. Right.
You would hope our intelligence agencies wouldn't make that kind of mistake, right?
Right. I would think that it would look a little bit in it okay, it's nighttime, right? Aren't these
Yeah,
nighttime strikes?
most
So
of them.
what family is out on that type of boat at night, for one? I mean, I do understand their concern. I see Rand Paul is all upset about it, but, I mean, I would like you said, I'm sure that they're tracking them. I'm sure that they've got ways to confirm that these are people actually trafficking drugs versus just someone out nighttime fishing.
Yeah, they're not
So
sunbathing
right.
in the
Right.
middle of the night. And so obviously, we live in a world that, politics is going to always be interjected. I mean, we just saw
Mhm.
this these Congress people do a video about, you don't have to follow unlawful orders in the
Mhm.
military, sort of interfering with it.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot online because when we get past the holidays, we get into the midterm election cycle.
Yeah.
A lot doesn't get happened in that time. So there's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of political rhetoric. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would say President Trump's opponents are probably, a lot of people are so sick of in the head when it comes to politics. They're probably hoping that a innocent family does get killed,
Yeah.
right? Just to give them talking points. See,
Right. Right.
uh, and things of that nature. So there's a lot online in the 2026 midterms. Obviously, if the House flips or the
Mhm.
Senate, President Trump could be facing his last 2 years with an
Yeah.
inability to get any legislation done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, not to get too far off topic, but that's why I'm not happy to see him fighting so much and attacking Paul Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene because, unless she's changed her mind in the last 12 hours, she's not gonna run again. And it's like, well, if you look at her, like, mega scorecard, she's actually one of the best, and now she's now we're gonna lose her, and
I
if
hear she's
she's
going to the View
my god, I know.
as a host.
Yeah, it's some I don't know, she's not making the best decisions either. It's
Yeah,
kinda
I know. I mean, listen, it is unfortunate. I think Tom Massey's a good congressman,
mhm,
uh, for sure, and you gave him as an example. But it's politics, and so
yeah,
we it was interesting. I know a lot of folks, sort of in the MAGA world, were like, there's the beef with Massey and MGT, and then there was a
mhm.
little bit of a love fest in the White House with Mondami.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, but a lot of people think that's Trump just playing the game, and that
yeah,
he'll be able to say that he tried to work with Mondami, and
mhm,
when Mondami goes full socialist.
yeah, and, with Mamdani's speech and calling Trump out, I almost feel like Trump inviting Mamdani to the White House was almost a way to put him on check a little bit, like, "Oh, are you gonna talk tough to my face?" And he didn't. So, I I kinda thought that was a little funny, everyone, "Oh, he's cuddling up to Mamdani." No, to me, it looks like he put him on check. Like, he's too big of a pussy to talk tough and to Trump's face, in my opinion, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trump is a master in those kind of settings. He really is.
Yeah,
And the moment where they asked, is he still a fascist? And he was going to try to do this dance, right? And Trump's like, just say
yeah.
yes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Oh, he's on the people who don't find Trump funny, sometimes it's like you just don't get his personality 'cause this guy's hilarious sometimes. But his tweets or, Truth Social posts can be a little bit embarrassing at times or sound kinda childish, but I almost wonder if it's a way to get his team to do something without him having to call a meeting. He can just go on Truth Social, bitch, and then, like, then people are like, on it, got it, we'll take care of this." And I don't know. I guess it's a time saver if you think about it that way.
No doubt. And I know I saw some behind the scenes when Trump was dictating all his posts.
Yeah,
He really does. It's him. He may
yeah,
not be typing it, but he's dictating to the person next to him what he wants said.
yeah. Do you think he tells them, "Make sure this is all caps"?
I do. I do, or maybe not every time, but I do.
Yeah,
I do think that he's that much of an attention to detail when it comes to communication.
uh-huh,
Right? It comes to
yeah,
communication, and they used to call Reagan the great communicator,
mhm,
but whether you hate Trump, love Trump, indifferent to Trump, uh, he is probably the greatest instinctual communicator politician that
mhm,
of my lifetime.
Yeah.
you know, and there's been a lot of people, they used to say Obama or Bill Clinton, but Trump has an ability. He knows, um, he knows how to close a deal. He knows
Mhm.
how to sell something.
Yeah.
He knows how to brand things.
Yeah.
He knows whether it's his labels. Even if you don't like it, like I have no doubt it was him that came up with Marjorie Trader Green, right? Like it's
Right. Right.
like he just that's him, and he's got some pretty good instincts as a politician.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that almost bugs people more, that the ones that don't like him, that he is so effective in communicating. He can push buttons and he gets attention. With everything he does, he gets attention, and it's like, well, if you don't like him, why are you paying attention? But it's like you don't have a choice almost. Like he makes sure you're gonna see what he thinks about something. So
For sure, and he has an ability that Trump could he's a real estate mogul billionaire who's become
mhm.
president twice, right?
Yeah.
But he could get in a cab with a cab driver in New York who will drive him across town. And Trump could get out of that cab, and the cab driver would be like, Trump's one of us.
Yeah.
Uh, Even though that cab driver is not a billionaire, he's not a
Yeah.
real estate mogul who, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a regular guy who drives a cab,
Yeah.
but Trump has this ability to make people feel like he's one of us. He gets us. He understands us.
Yeah.
And that's a rare talent, especially for someone who is a billionaire,
Mhm.
successful TV star, president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, I if you find certain moments, you can I think in a ways he's shown he cares about, the people struggling more than other politicians, like, just in the way that he talks and the way he finds certain things to do, but that doesn't really get attention. So, was there anything else you wanted to talk about with Maduro and, kind of the US Venezuela relations?
I mean, I think we pretty much, covered it.
Yeah.
The real question is whether or not, um, how aggressive is the United States going to be?
Mhm.
Uh, is it possible that we do a drone strike, for example? Is that
Yeah.
why Maduro is like, hiding and evading? Is he worried about a drone strike, or is it because he's just worried about maybe one of his military leaders taking him out and then wanting to be able to re-engage the United States? Because
Yeah.
Venezuela is experiencing, one of the worst conditions imaginable.
Yeah.
You know, their money is useless, worthless.
Yeah.
You could have all the money in the world that's paper money for them, and you could throw it in the fire because it's useless. And so when you are in that point, um, it's interesting how he goes out. And the real question to me is, could President Trump be talked into some type of preemptive military strike? And then the
Right.
question is, how would his base, how would MAGA respond if the United States did some sort of preemptive strike against Venezuela? I don't
Yeah.
know the answer to that, but I'm just, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious almost of what you would think. Do you think that would be too far, or I guess it would be
Yeah.
depending on how it was communicated, probably.
Yeah. So, they've talked about, attacking the cartels inside of Mexico as well, and I know that the Mexican president is against that. I guess as far as I'm concerned with that, it could probably be related to Venezuela as well, is you refuse to take care of your drug cartel problem. Your problem is coming into my home, my neighborhood, my country. So you can't even contain your problem that you can't control. I mean, I guess what else do you do? You're just supposed to let them continue to come in. And I could see where that would be a conflict where we are striking some other people in another country, and that's maybe not our business, and maybe that can be considered an act of war. But I mean, at some point, we have to protect ourselves, and she's not working on it, and I know Trump's been in communications with her about cracking down on the cartels, and I know that there's huge protests against her, with accusations of her being bought out by the cartels.
Right.
So I guess I personally wouldn't care if we struck cartels inside Mexico. As far as Venezuela goes, that we have people seeking asylum from Venezuela, and Trump has they were in that group, right, with that had their asylum revoked
Yeah.
and were to get sent back. We can't bail out an entire country. We can't it sounds like the entire country of Venezuela is a very difficult place to live. Um so I know that the United States kind of seems to want to rescue other countries. Well, this country is affecting our country. So to me, it makes more sense than if we're getting involved in the Middle East or some, obviously before 9/11.
Right.
Um, we're kind of helping our neighbor, protecting the citizens that border us, and so then they don't have to come to the United States to seek asylum. I guess that's how I'm viewing it. Is it wouldn't bother me if we did that. I'm sure that, a lot of people would disagree with me quite a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot depends on, a connection. I mean,
Mhm.
I would like to see before something like that, I would like probably some kind of deadline that if you don't
Yeah.
handle this, we may take this option. It would certainly be very controversial
Yeah.
uh, uh, and a lot depends, on my question. I know how the left will respond. I know how some people respond. My real question is, the base that's awful loyal to President Trump,
Yeah.
who genuinely feels that we have been too involved with too many foreign governments. We can't
Mhm.
rescue the world. We have enough people here struggling. We've taken in so many million
Yeah.
illegals that let's clean up home first
Yeah.
before we do. So we'll see. That's why I don't think there'll be a strike. I
Yeah.
think President Trump really using the might of our military as a way to build internal pressure on people of Venezuela, sort of do their own
Mhm.
regime change,
Yeah.
internally. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I am to me, I'm America first, so then it's like with our involvement with other countries, it's like, well, let's take care of our veterans,
Mhm.
and the homeless, but, other people in need in our country instead of sending billions of dollars to others, but, um, obviously help when we can. But yeah, I agree with your giving them the opportunity, working with them, maybe give deadlines, steps, like, just a quick like, we're just gonna bomb you guys today," I don't like that. I like the working with people in stages, because yeah, you can't solve a problem overnight, of course,
Right.
but yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Alright, is there anything else that you'd like to the audience to know?
No, just they can visit johndeatonforsenate.com.
Okay.
If they can afford to donate, great, even if
Yeah.
it's $25. We Massachusetts is a blue state, but we have an advantage that we've never had with that
Yeah.
primary not happening. So, and even though if you don't live in Massachusetts, you live in Iowa or somewhere else, it's a federal seat, so it impacts
Yeah.
all national policy. So,
Yeah.
just go to that site and give me a look. I think they'll like what they see as far as a common sense approach to solving some of our problems.
Sounds good. Alright.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Yep, sounds good. Bye.